And now, let's join ace broadcaster Mamode Akugha as he takes us inside the Niger Delta.
Hello out there and welcome to the program. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. I'm your regular host, Mamode Akugha. Taking a lead on today's package is an update on the outcome of the September 3 governorship primaries of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Bayelsa State. Winner of the PDP governorship primary election, Senator Douye Diri, who was recently issued a certificate of return, appears humble in his victory as he solicits the support of opponents to secure victory for the party come November 16 this year. The course of the program will also furnish you with details of how other contestants have reacted to the process and the outcome of the just concluded PDP governorship primaries in Bayelsa State. Also, we'll bring you details of the APC, the All Progressives Congress, governorship primary election in Bayelsa State. Also in this lineup is a special report on the people's reaction to the recent reconstitution of the board of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, by President Muhammadu Buhari. Our final issue in today's package takes a look at the verdict of the British government on the ongoing environmental cleanup exercise in Ogoni land. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region, will be back after this time out. Don't go away.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Welcome back. It's Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region. Candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the November 16 governorship election in Bayelsa State, Senator Douye Diri says his emergence as the party's flag bearer is a victory for Bayelsa State. Senator Diri made the declaration recently at the national headquarters of the PDP in Abuja, where he was issued a certificate of return as standard bearer of the party in the forthcoming governorship elections in Bayelsa State.
Senator Douye Diri was at the national headquarters of the PDP in the company of his supporters and political associates to receive his certificate of return as the duly elected candidate of the party in the November 16 governorship election.
Certificate of return. Senator Diri Douye.
Senator Diri, a lawmaker representing Bayelsa Central in the Senate, dedicates his victory to the people of Bayelsa State, whose interests he promises to protect if he is finally elected governor.
We are servants. We are going to serve our states. God is the only one who gives power, and he deems it fit today to recognize me from a very humble, low background. We on our own have even started the process of reconciliation. I want to let you know, Mr. Chairman and Working Committee, that I've started calling all the former aspirants, one after the other, pleading with them to join hands with me to deliver a great party in Bayelsa State. We believe that the only way for us to win this forthcoming November 16th election is for our party to be united. We will be focused on achieving that goal.
On his return to Bayelsa State, Senator Diri was received by a crowded mass of party supporters and loyalists. Present at the occasion of his reception in Yenagoa were leaders and members of several political camps that equally vied for the PDP governorship tickets. Secretary to the government of Bayelsa State, Kemela Okara, who was with Senator Diri in the governorship race, also declared his support for the flag bearer of the PDP.
We went out for a friendly contest, and the best man, my dear brother here, has emerged. And we are solidly behind him. Thank you. So we leave the other parties to continue with their crooked politics. We are united with one objective. And come November 16, it is clear that we shall win.
In an emotional response to the people's reception in Yenagoa, Senator Diri attributed his victory to their support and the will of God.
The conclusion was that Bayelsa PDP is going to implode and that they will never come together again. But today, have we imploded or we are united? United! We are becoming more united. Bayelsa was transparent, peaceful, credible, open, and everybody and the whole world is clapping for all of you, Bayelsa. I am humbled. I am humbled. I am humbled. When I saw this crowd, I am humbled. I am humbled. If all of you stand by me and God standing by me, are we not going to win this election?
Senator Douye Diri, who hails from St. Paul community in Kolokuma Opukuma local government area of Bayelsa State, is a one-time sports commissioner and former deputy chief of staff. He says he is in the governorship race to reinvent governance with his experience in the legislative and executive arms of government. To actualize his dream for Bayelsa State, the PDP governorship flag bearer solicits the support of fellow party men and women to work towards the success of the party in the upcoming governorship election. Senator Douye Diri was declared winner of the September 3 governorship primary election of the PDP after securing a total of 561 votes to beat several other contestants.
Inside the Niger Delta.
In his reaction, Chief Timi Alaibe, who emerged first runner-up with 365 votes as against 561 votes secured by Senator Douye Diri, who was declared winner, regrets that the process was flawed and runs contrary to the collective will of the people. In a statement he personally signed and made available to the media, Alaibe observed that the outcome of the PDP governorship primary election was a huge setback for his vision for Bayelsa State, as well as the expectation of his teeming supporters and other Bayelsans. Excerpt from the lengthy statement read thus, and I quote, "My decision to seek election as governor of Bayelsa State was based on both the collective opinion of respected stakeholders of our beloved state and a personal conviction that I have what it takes to make the difference in the economic development of our state. And having traveled the same route more than once, I took time to pray, plan my strategies, and carry out wider consultations more than I have ever done in the past," unquote. No doubt, Chief Alaibe had sought the governorship ticket of his party to become governor and implement a robust and comprehensive economic plan that will cater for the development needs of Bayelsa State for the next 25 years. In his letter to Bayelsans, the former managing director of the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, further observed that the flaws characterizing the September 3 primaries of the PDP derived mainly from a violation of the PDP constitution. According to him, and I quote, "We all know that the basis of our party is the constitution, in addition to the rules and regulations that we set for ourselves from inception in 1999, and the fact that our party has become reformed. Consequently, for anything to be legitimate, it must derive authority from our constitution. Unfortunately, certain aspects of the process of the just concluded primary election rudely violated the provisions of our party's constitution. For instance, by the provisions of Section 50, subsection 1 of the party's constitution, the authority to formulate guidelines for all matters relating to the governorship primary election is vested in the National Executive Council of the PDP. The election of ad hoc delegates is one of such matters. Strangely, the panel set up to undertake the exercise simply imposed on us a list of electoral and returning officers prepared by the state officers of the party, who are avowed members of the orchestrated restoration team. Thus, the process was deliberately handed over to the restoration team. Our protest was ignored," unquote. In the concluding part of his letter to Bayelsans, Alaibe described the process as completely unacceptable for its alleged unconstitutionality, but vowed to move on. But how exactly does Alaibe intend to move on? It appears only time will tell.
inside the Niger Delta.
A one-time state chairman of the PDP in Bayelsa State, now representing Sagbama Ikirimo Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, Honorable Fred Agbedi, strongly believes that based on an existing unwritten power rotation principle in the state, the ruling People's Democratic Party will emerge victorious for fielding a candidate from Kolokuma-Pokuma local government area, which is yet to produce a governor since 1999.
APC is preparing. PDP is also preparing for the general election. I think that, like when I told Bayelsans during my campaign and these issues of zoning and all that, came up as a way of some aspirants using it to defend, their basis, why they should be elected, they should be supported and all that. I did canvass that in Bayelsa, we are 8 local governments. 4 are produced governors, 4 are yet to produce governors. And my own local government, the Ikirimo local government from Bayelsa West, is part of the 4 local governments that haven't produced a governor. And in this contest, one of the landmark issues that is going to form a strong basis for campaign, amongst others, will also be this issue of who has produced governor and who has not produced governors. The PDP candidate comes from one of the 4 local governments that have not produced governors. And of course, if we are all in a state where all of us want to have a taste of the ultimate position in the state, of course, it's good enough that the merry goes round, and particularly in a situation where we have a very qualified candidate coming from Kolokuma-Pokuma local government that has not produced a governor, and then the PDP having their candidate from there. It's another advantage. It's completely another advantage, particularly for those local governments that have not produced governors, like Ikirimo local government, like Yanagwa local government, like Nembe local government. Is another advantage, because if they want to produce governors after this season, then it is when they key into this project that they will be expecting that their turn is going to come. For APC, they have gone to Southern Niger local government to bring their candidate. Southern Niger had produced governor. They have produced governors. And if they have done so, of course, you should understand that the people won't feel good that they take it again. If they take it again, maybe some other local government that has produced before will take it again the next time, and then you are completely going to shut out other local governments that haven't benefited from it. So my feeling strongly is that the PDP candidate coming from a local government that has not produced governor will have more of support and sympathy from the local governments that haven't produced, and even from some of the local governments that have produced governors, to say that, look, if this thing should go around, it will be good enough so that we can all have a second taste of it. So that is clearly another advantage for the PDP candidate.
Inside the Niger Delta.
And now to the APC. The Opposition All Progressives Congress, APC, finally conducted its primary election on September 4 after it was postponed from its earlier scheduled date of August 29. At the end of the election, contested by 6 aspirants, businessman Lyon emerged winner, having polled the highest votes of 42,138 votes. Correspondent Tekena Amefore has details of the September 4 APC primary election in Bayelsa State.
Prior to the APC governorship primary election in Bayelsa State was a controversy on its mode of conduct. The party finally settled for direct election following the vacation of an interim injunction restraining it from adopting direct primaries. This paved way for 6 governorship aspirants cleared for the contest to test their popularity across the 105 political wards in Bayelsa State. At the conclusion of the exercise, Mr. David Lyon was announced winner of the primary election. He polled 42,138 votes to beat 5 other aspirants, with Disaye Insirin, who polled 1,533 votes, coming a distant second. Chief Coalition Officer Senator Emmanuel Dangana stood in for Yobe State Governor Mai Mala Buni, who was returning officer for the Bayelsa APC governorship primary election. While responding to questions from journalists over the conspicuous absence of the chief returning officer, Senator Dangana maintained that, as Chief Coalition Officer, he was constitutionally empowered to announce the results.
I am not the returning officer. I am the Chief Coalition Officer. The returning officer is His Excellency, the Executive Governor of Yobe State, Governor Mai Mala Buni, who is unavoidably absent. The authorities are aware of his absence, and that is why I have the mandate to declare what I have collated.
One of the earliest reactions to the conduct of the just concluded APC governorship primary election came from Minister of State for Petroleum, Timipri Silva, a chieftain of the party in Bayelsa State, who described the entire process as very peaceful and credible. The position of the former governor of Bayelsa State is, however, contrary to the views of some aggrieved governorship aspirants and their supporters, alleging foul play in the conduct of the primaries.
Inside the Niger Delta, ISBC presents its second African edition of the International Small Business Congress, Abuja 2019. Theme: Small Business Growth, an imperative catalyst for driving national and global economic transformation. This Congress is for small business owners, entrepreneurs, policymakers, SME support agencies, consultants, and financing institutions. Date: 9th to 12th September 2019. Venue: NAF Center, Jahi, Abuja, Nigeria. For more information on exhibition sponsorship and participation, visit isbcabuja2019.org or call 080-2333-5084 or 080-9284-6514. Endorsed by ISBC Africa. Partners: Small and Medium Enterprise Development Agency of Nigeria, All Africa Association for Small and Medium Enterprise. Host: Sitia Associates Limited.
And now, away from politics in Bayelsa State, we now move on to other trending issues in the Niger Delta. President Muhammadu Buhari's reconstitution last month of the board of the Niger Delta Development Commission (NDDC) has in the last few weeks generated angry protests from groups alleging lopsidedness in the appointment of key officials into the commission's apex administrative organ. This report, correspondent Tekena Amilfori again takes a look at the misgivings trailing the reconstitution of the NDDC board within the context of the act establishing the commission.
In the newly reconstituted board of the NDDC, Mr. Pius Odubu, a former deputy governor of Edo State, will hold sway as chairman, while Bernard Okumagba from Delta State is to serve as managing director and chief executive officer. Occupying the position of executive director project is Engineer Otobong Ndem from Akwa Ibom State. The slot of executive director finance and administration reserved for Bayelsa State is to be filled by Maxwell Oko. Based on a directive from the presidency, the Professor Nelson Brambaefa-led board was required to hand over to the most senior official in the commission. Following the new appointments are pockets of protest, mainly from groups in Bayelsa State.
Updated person in Nigeria connect with some persons in Asholok and come up with that list. This is the period that every Nigerians know that it is only Bayelsa that has the right to produce the next MD of the NDDC.
So this message is going straight to Mr. President to please stop this is cabal by appointing whoever they choose that can be able to dance to their tune. What belongs to us is MD of NDDC.
Section 4 of the Act establishing the NDDC provides that the office of the chairman shall rotate amongst the member states of the commission in the following alphabetical order: Abia, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, Cross River, Delta, Edo, Imo, Ondo, and River States. The NDDC Act also provides that there shall be for the commission a managing director and 2 executive directors who shall be indigenes of oil-producing areas, starting with member states of the commission with the highest production quantum of oil, and shall rotate among member states in order of production. Going by provisions of the NDDC Act, Delta State, which is next in line in the alphabetical order, is entitled to produce the next board chairman of the commission as well as its managing director, as it is currently the highest crude oil producing state in the Niger Delta. While Delta State, appearing content with its managing director slot, is not among those quarreling with the new appointment, some groups in Rivers State wonder why the nation's treasure base, which plays host to the third largest crude oil reserves, is not on the current board of the NDDC.
Rivers State, being the third largest producer of oil in Nigeria presently, and host to two refineries, and indeed the largest refiner of crude in Nigeria, is absent in the so-called nominated or announced board. And so it cannot stand, because Rivers State deserves a place. If you look at what section 12 sub 1 of the act says, and so we cannot bridge two lines or two sections of the act establishing a place and feel that we have done something.
Altogether, the four oil-rich states of Delta, Akwa Ibom, Rivers and Bayelsa produce over 90% of Nigeria's crude oil, but they remain largely underdeveloped, a situation which the current Minister of Niger Delta Affairs, Senator Godswill Akpabio, has attributed to administrative lethargy on the part of the NDDC since its inception in the year 2000. Frontline Niger Delta activist Ankyo Briggs agrees with Senator Akpabio that the oil-producing states deserve a better deal from the NDDC.
The NDDC has been used as a political tool by political parties and politicians. On the surface, it seems like it is controlled by the Niger Delta people, but it is not. The Niger Delta people you see there are just fronting as far as I'm concerned, because they are not doing what is right for the Niger Delta people. The young ones that are arguing now, they are not even asking why should Northerners be on the board of NDDC. I would have expected that these are the things that young people should be asking.
The NDDC was established in 2000 through an act of parliament to intervene in the plight of beleaguered oil-producing communities contending with poverty, underdevelopment and insecurity in Nigeria's Niger Delta region. The Commission's inability to deliver on its mandate over the years is blamed on several factors, including political interference as well as inadequate supervision by the Presidency and the National Assembly. The expectation is that President Buhari takes a bold step to improve on the existing governance structure in the NDDC and place it in a better stead to discharge its statutory obligations to the people of the Niger Delta region.
Inside the Niger Delta.
The British government recently pledged support for the ongoing environmental remediation exercise in Ogoni land. Britain's Deputy Commissioner to Nigeria, Ms. Gill Atkinson, who made the pledge during a working visit to polluted sites in the 4 local government areas of Ogoni land, hinted that the Department for International Development, DFID, will also be contacted to offer technical support to the Hydrocarbons Pollution Remediation Project, HYPREP, the federal government agency mandated to carry out its ongoing cleanup project in Ogoni land. Correspondent Chika Obodozie has details.
Ms. Atkinson's recent tour of polluted sites was to find out how the ongoing environmental remediation exercise was progressing in Ogoni land. After taking an assessment of the level of work carried out so far on the Ogoni Cleanup project, the Deputy British High Commissioner expressed satisfaction with the quality of service delivered by contractors hired by the Hydrocarbons Pollution Remediation Project, HYPREP.
It's really good to see strong progress happening here and genuine implementation of the project, which has taken time to plan, but as we can see, there's real productive work going on now.
For what she described as a job well done, the British Deputy High Commissioner to Nigeria, Ms. Atkinson, pledged the support of her country to ensure that the objectives of the Ogoni Cleanup project were achieved to save lives and protect livelihoods in the ecologically devastated Ogoni communities.
We are offering expert support through the Department for International Development, and this is long-term support to the project. But this is obviously a project which is largely funded by the IOCs, and that's the correct thing to do.
HYPREP's coordinator, Dr. Marvin Dekil, who conducted the British Deputy High Commissioner around the 21 polluted sites currently receiving attention, restated the federal government's commitment to the successful environmental cleanup of Ogoni land.
The federal government of Nigeria is fully committed to implementing this to the letter. We've invited UNEP, the UNEP officials are here even as we speak, so that everything we do it consistent with the recommendations in the report. It's also very important to tell the world and to tell the Ogoni people that this is an environmental remediation project. As much as we would like to solve other problems, our primary focus will be to deal with the environmental challenges and ensure that these contractors work according to specifications within timelines and within budget.
In trying to make a success out of the Ogoni Cleanup project, HYPREP has gone into partnerships with the River State government, other development-based institutions and the civil society community. HYPREP's coordinator, Dr. Marvin Dekil, however, observed that the success achieved so far on the Ogoni Cleanup project could not have been possible without the cooperation and support of the oil-impacted communities. The British High Commission's fact-finding mission on the Ogoni Cleanup project was rounded off with a visit to the traditional ruler of Eleme Kingdom, His Royal Highness Emere Philip Obele.
Inside the Niger Delta.
Well, it's on that note that we draw the curtain on the program. Inside the Niger Delta, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region will be back on this station same time next week. Until then, you can follow us on our social media handles showing right now on your screen. Many thanks for staying tuned to the program. My name is Mamode Akugha. Bye for now.